John Melendez Roundtable Discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DabblePoint, a weekly, yes, still weekly roundtable discussion of the world of Stuttering John. Joining me today, everyone you see here was at DabbleCon 2 in Rochester, and we'll find out today if everyone here enjoyed themselves. I'd like to introduce, as always, you know him from Who Are These Everythings? It's, of course, Karl. My man.
Hey, what's happening, Shuli? Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well. A gentleman he's got a lot of fans. You can see that on his Patreon. Tell him Steve Dave. It's also his Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Bryan Johnson joining us.
Thank you for having me, Shuli. Thank you. It's an honor.
Pleasure. And the man who some, and by some I mean him, say he stole the show at DabbleCon, Anthony Zenhauser joining us. Thank you, Zen.
You know, Shuli, I don't want to play, hindsight's 2020.
Sure.
But when you guys started the Uncle Rico show, you mentioned that Zen was hungover, couldn't make it, and so Anthony Cumia was filling in for him. And you guys are like, I don't know, 40 minutes into the show, and I go back in the green room. I go, do you think they're just fucking with you? They're never going to have you up there? That would have been the move.
You know, it was a sign of how much fun we were having, because I looked and I saw it was 40 minutes, and I'm like, poor Zen's dressed as a woman with a wig on for the last 40 minutes waiting to come on. So
I kind of liked it. I think it would have happened either way, whether or not I was going to be.
Honestly, you weren't complaining. Even when I said something, you're like, whatever, I'm good.
Yeah, I was kind of posing for Karl. I was kind of doing a little walk for him, and
what's crazy is nobody had that planned. He just had that. He goes, hey, I just thought it'd be funny. He told us in the green room, I just happened to bring a dress and a wig if you guys think that can be used for anything. And we said, all right, let's try it, So he's always thinking, he's a couple steps ahead, playing 9-ball. But gentlemen, let's start with DabbleCon. In my opinion, huge success. So much fun. Everybody that was there, everybody, as far as I know, that got the stream loved it. What are your thoughts? Go ahead. Anyone?
I personally thought it was a smashing success. I could not believe the number of people. I couldn't believe how cool people were. Like once you were there, like it really, like it was a very cool vibe. Like a lot of people that are singular minded in their approach to how they see Stuttering John, and like-minded with other people. Aside from the bed bugs, it was awesome.
So Bryan, I'm sure you've been to lots of like Comic Cons and all sorts of different conventions for these types of things. How does this compare to something like that, like one of your nerd cons that you do?
The nerd cons are a little rougher because they're much bigger.
Yeah.
So and if I go to a con, usually I'm behind a table and then people are approaching me, and it's very weird when people are like, you're awesome, and I'm like, inside I'm like, no, I'm not, I'm fucking dead. Nothing to say is going to change that.
But as far as like the vibe and the people there, I'm not looking for better words. I'm just interested, like what was different about it? Because when I started doing live podcasting, it was when I went to be part of Road Rage that Dick Matterson was doing in Tampa. And it wasn't until I was there that I went, oh, you could do a live podcast. People fly in from all over the country to be with this group of people that they only interact with on the internet. And so it's not even sometimes about the podcast. It's just about like people getting together and hanging out for the weekend.
I think with the bigger cons, there's always room for more errors. Whereas like this was so smooth that there was really no room for complaints, as far as I could see. And anybody that I was hanging out with, anybody I was talking to, I met a lot of people over the weekend. Everybody had the same thought, that it was like very chill, very fun. And I mean, you look around that room and people can say whatever they want. I know KB will say this and Muttering Jay will say that, but it was, as far as I could see as a viewer, it was a success, and it was huge.
Yeah. I agree. I couldn't have been happier with the way things ran right from the get-go. With the roast that we did Friday, couldn't have gone better. Everyone seemed to love it. I know that there was a concern right before the roast that we're like, oh, is this going to be over an hour? There's like 7 people roasting. We thought we were going to have more people. And then like everyone went way over other time, thank God. But it worked. Like nobody, there was no bombing. I mean, there was a little bit of bombing here and there, but no one bombed. Dr. Steve was amazing. The video he sent in. And the only problem with Dr. Steve is that he didn't realize how much laughter he was going to get. So he didn't pause long enough in between jokes, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, well, when he gets professional comedians to write those bits for him, they should remind him to get.
Hold on, you got professional comedians and Rich Voss.
Right. Love it, man. He killed, and he's such a sweetheart of a guy, and couldn't have been happier for the whole weekend, man. That was the thing that I loved about it is it reminded me of like the Killers of Comedy tours, where it was just all these Stern fans were there just to have a good time, just to laugh, yell shit out from the show, try and get Beetlejuice drunks, all this fun little sideshow, like these prop bets that are going on while the actual game is happening. It was a blast. I loved it.
Yeah, day two, I was concerned. I was like, well, we got potato soup and Tookie, we got WATP, which is never short, and then we have Uncle Rico. I'm like, will I be able to sit through all those podcasts? And I got to tell you, man, that time flew.
Yeah.
It really was really fun.
One person in the chat the other day was like, what was up with the dance party? How come nobody was dancing? It's like, how long of a day that was? That was like, nobody was going to be dancing. Everybody's taking pictures, wrapping up, getting drunk, celebrating the weekend.
A lot of dudes too. It's a lot of dudes. So
there was a lot of ladies though, but they were all
more than I thought.
Up. Yeah.
Oh,
they were all.
Lucy told a story on WTP this week. She goes, I go into the ladies' room, and swear to God, she goes, 2 girls were flashing each other their tits to compare tits, and then there were 2 other girls talking about how bad they wanted to get dicked down this weekend.
Wow.
Like, wait. So everything that we hope is happening in the ladies' room is what's happening in the ladies' room?
I can't tell you how disappointed I was that none of those women were my wife.
Oh, come on. You're not stepping up.
I say we hold DabbleCon 3 in that ladies' room next year. I think that would be a good idea. That seems where all the action was.
Yeah. The only problem is Helga Mann will be there too, which is...
I'll handle her. Okay.
Right. All you.
Yeah.
I didn't know Lucy was such a fucking liar. She just made all that shit up like that, huh?
Worked for me, man. I was into it.
Whatever gets you there, man.
That was it for me too. Was getting to meet Karl. I never really met Karl. I think we passed ships at one point when we did Rochester a few years ago, but I never met Karl personally. I never got to meet Lucy Typebox, Trucker Andy, Bryan Johnson. I've worked with him on Compound a few times, but I've never gotten to meet him. It was fun for the podcasters too. We all kind of got together and finally face to face. I think some beefs were squashed a little bit as well, or just some supposed rivalries that people thought there were. It was nice to see Melton there and everybody just getting along, having a good time.
Yeah, I was going to say Melton went on the show. So he flew out to Scotland right after the DabbleCon. And so he'd been sick for a couple of days. He finally did a show yesterday for the first time. And he was saying, it's great. I hung out with Shuli. We're friends. Everything's good. Like, producer Joe kept running away from me, though. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that guy.
He's a busy little beaver.
I think he's afraid of Melton. And why wouldn't you be? He's a big dude.
Yeah.
He does that to everybody, though. He's not, he's a shy guy, Joe.
Yeah. He's like a kitten. He hides behind a washer half the time. You gotta find him and get him out of there,
But just before the show, like he said to Bryan, he goes, I wanted to meet you, but because I'm a big fan of the View Askew-verse, but I didn't want to bother you. It's like, because that's the kind of guy Joe is. He doesn't want to cause problems, bother people.
And I'm the kind of guy where it's no bother at all. Like if you wanted to come up and be like, hey, I like this. Like I like hearing that. I have such low self-esteem. Like it's great when somebody's like, hey man, I like you.
Mary Beth, enough ball washing. Let's get to stuff.
Okay. Good point. You're right, Mary Beth.
You got it. So let's get to him. First question. Is he gone for good? Let's go around the room. Mr. Johnson, your thoughts. Is Stuttering John gone for good?
I mean, I want to say no, of course. And I just believe that his ego won't allow him to stay away. There's a reason that he's like, I don't know if he went on vacation or perhaps he, I don't know when school starts wherever he is right now. So he may be substitute teaching, and that's why he's not able to do the show.
What do you think, Karl?
Wow. I have a lot of thoughts on this subject. First off, the way he left the internet this time, where he says, Friday's my last show. Maybe for a day, maybe for 3 days, maybe for a week, maybe for a month, maybe for a year. So you could tell he's thinking, I just need a break.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little while later in that episode, he goes, you know what? Today's my last show. And, this is it. And so he hasn't been back. It's been over a week now. It's been like 9 days since he's done a podcast. And I know how John thinks. He's very childlike.
Yes.
I really understand this boy that we talk about on the internet. And his whole thing is he doesn't think into the future. He doesn't think ahead. If he has enough money to sustain himself for today and tomorrow and the weekend, he's good.
Right.
So think. He must have done something. Now, he sold his house to his mom for $10. Could he have worked something out with his mom where it's like, okay, Mom, you have ownership of the house now, but, I put down $170,000 on it, whatever it was. Could he have taken out like a HELOC, like a home equity line of credit? Maybe he's got $30,000 now as a loan, and it's in his mom's name, so he doesn't give a fuck. He could just spend $30,000 and care about paying it back. I mean, that's just one scenario. Or did he work out something with his mom, or his mom fronted him money since she got the house for $10? My thought is that he will come back, but not until he's flat broke again. And then he's going to bitch about how, and YouTube doesn't pay until the 21st of the next month. Because he's not thinking ahead at all.
Those are all very possible and good theories. I like all of those. Zen, what are your thoughts?
Well, as far as show business is concerned, he's gone for good. He's never coming back.
Sure.
And that was years ago. As far as having your own StreamYard channel, he couldn't even stay away from social media. He's been tweeting the last couple of days. He's been showing his hide, as they say.
It's a good point because he started tweeting a little bit, and it was all politics at first. He was just putting out tweet regarding the DNC and the Republican, the usual shit.
And what a DNC it was! Oh wow! Oh, sorry.
And then now he's so itching to praise himself, to show himself off, to brag about how amazing he is, but he can't give in yet. So he's starting to do it on Twitter. By showing old pictures. He's doing the glory days via Twitter and also being a Karen on Twitter and complaining and putting his shit out there for all the world to see.
I'm blocked. What is he putting out there as far as being a Karen?
Oh, you have that shot, guys, in the Discord, that screenshot of his tweet from today. He was complaining about something. What was it, an airline or something? No. I stopped using Expedia after they screwed me on a booking. Recently, Cheap Tickets screwed me royally as well. Does anybody know of a reputable third-party company that doesn't take advantage of their customers?
Can I give John some advice if he's watching the show? And I'm sure he's watching the show. I do everything through my American Express Platinum card. I suggest he does the same thing. They take
they're
pretty good with that kind of stuff.
So John, in typical John fashion, not only bitching and moaning, but asking for another adult to help him figure something out that's so goddamn simple. How do you think he got to Cheap Tickets?
I know.
Probably by putting in cheap tickets in Google. It's not that hard.
Cheap Tickets doesn't have the most amazing customer service? What?
Yeah, it's like Spirit, no meal. Are you kidding me?
What idiots.
Without Stuttering John spewing hate into the Dabbleverse, the air smells cleaner, the water fresher. Good riddance. Mean Gene. Thank you, Mean Gene. Good to see you, Bill.
I agree. I think the timing of this couldn't be better.
Yeah.
After an epic DabbleCon, and everyone's just like, okay, let's take a break. Like, John's taking a break from us. We need a break from him as well. So it's kind of nice to not have him polluting the internet every day.
Yeah, and I like that there's a small group of people that were like, the tapes were a bust. Meanwhile, he ran because of the tapes. Don't get it twisted. There's no other reason he ran other than the tapes, because if it wasn't the tapes, he'd be back joining your narrative of it was a bust and nothing bad happened. That I personally feel like the tapes showed exactly what we all knew and thought he was, but hearing it from his own mouth, wasted and drunk, while the douche chills of trying to fuck this girl, I thought it was amazing. I really did.
Oh, it's incredible. And the fact that people, what they heard on those tapes doesn't shock you, tells you how much of a piece of shit everyone thinks John is already. It's incredible what he was saying.
Right. Like I said, what do you want to hear on those tapes? Him admitting to a crime? Twice. How about twice?
Yeah. No problem. We got it. We got that.
Right. What? I mean, sorry you didn't hear the N-word. I'm not keeping it from you. Believe me. I don't have it.
Well, okay. So let me bring this up, because as we talk about, everyone wants to get a pool going. When will John be back?
Yes.
What's the date? How many days is it going to be? And going back to my thought of like, he figured out some way to get a bunch of money, because there's no way with this ESO dough news coming out.
Right.
He's not coming back soon, because he would have come back now and pounced on this, I feel like.
I'm sorry, Karl. What news?
Oh yeah, we don't. What is that name?
We don't discuss that on this channel.
No.
Listen, but you're right. He's taking victory laps for so much less, right? For dumb, wild theories that he has no proof or evidence of or anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to be killing him that he's not back for this.
I mean,
that.
This is his chance right now. He can come on and be like, the tapes were a bust. No one cares.
Right.
Shuli's obviously diddling children with his producer. Like, he could be going with all of this stuff. Can I just point out? So I didn't know a lot about the ESO case and what was going on, but I did a Creep Off bonus show, if you want to check it out on our Creep Off Patreon, where Vinny did a little deep dive and schooled me into what ESO has been up to since 2016. What a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
The way he treated his wife and his family, he could really just rot in hell.
I'm with you 100%.
He's garbage.
I'm with you.
He wanted to take his wife down with him. That was what he threatened her with.
Yeah. Once we saw what everybody's sharing now and acting like we hid from you, that's been out there for a year, that nobody else saw along with us, nobody else knew along with us. Now it's all in there. And once we had that confirmed, once I saw pled guilty, done. It's a wrap.
Props to his wife though for being strong and sticking with it and
absolutely.
She was cooperating witness. Is that what I'm to believe from reading those papers? Okay.
Yes, CW1. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, dead to me. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist, because I never knew that fucking guy. The guy that I knew, I had no fucking clue about any of this. And I know, as the great Phil Elmore said, many people are upset that I couldn't predict the future, but I'll try and work on that and get better at it. But he's without a doubt a fucking scumbag, and that's that. That's why we're not. That's the other thing. I said I want all his shit gone. Like, I don't want him on anything. Take down any episodes. And the reaction from that is they're scrubbing all the. Of course, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Why would I want that out? But if I didn't, then I'd be a piece of shit for not taking it down as well. So it's like, you can't win. They have. This is the narrative. Had they discovered this before we did, would be we knew all along.
Right.
We didn't. The minute we knew, we broke it to everybody else, but they still have to use the same narrative as if we knew. So
John, pounce on it. This is going to go away soon. Come on. You got this.
It really is. It really is. It's
especially with DabbleCon, all the hard work that went into it, with everybody doing a really working overtime to get DabbleCon doing great. Yeah, that's what we wanted right after DabbleCon too. We fucking don't rest on your laurels and that everybody had a good time and it was a big success and everybody killed and it was a great time. It was like, all right, now we got to deal with this fucking dumb piece of shit.
Yeah.
So.
I thought the worst moment of the week was flying out of Rochester at 6 a.m. But it turns out
it got worse.
I had another surprise waiting for me. So
and KB went on a tear about it, obviously. And the whole time I was just thinking, I'm just like, if this were flipped and it was Adam who had these images and shit, what would KB then say? It's like, you can't possibly know what other people are up to in their private lives. You just can't know.
No, all I knew is the guy that worked for me and did the work that I needed done. And that's where it ended. We talked off air, mostly show stuff. We played video games. We never hung out.
Well, that's the thing, though, too, Shuli. It's so ridiculous. People who are into child porn don't tell their friends about that.
Yeah,
they don't even want their wife. He was trying to hide it from his wife. She found a thumb drive in his weed and popped in the computer. It's like these people are very secretive about that kind of shit.
Well, that's the other thing. They go, you got to do a better job of hiring people. I go, I'll add child porn into the job application. Let's see how many boxes.
You know what you got to do? You got to do a Rorschach test. Where you just show a 5-year-old essing D and just be like,
it's crazy, man. And the sheer volume and number, like this is a sickness that's been going on for years. And there's nothing you can do with somebody like that other than just fucking move on, cut them out of your life. And that's it.
What is it about CP guys too? It's like when they get caught, it's never like they have 3 or 4 images. It's always in the thousands.
Yeah. And it's never one hard drive either. There's always multiple hard drives. They're all over the house.
And that's the other thing is like people are tagging the FBI. The FBI has investigated this for over a year. Mm-hmm. If there was anything that was any wrongdoing over here, we would have been called in. We would have been questioned. We would have been interviewed. We would have been shut down. None of those things happened. And they searched everything, I imagine. Once they found, one thing, I'm sure all bets were off on every other.
Good point from Joe Gillis, and not to be Bob Levy on you guys, but good point from Joe Gillis in the chat. Karl had an actual murder on his show. Yes, Podcast Hitman came on my show, was a big fan of WATP, and then lo and behold, he strangled his girlfriend and left her in his basement for 7 months. He actually just sent me a letter.
Why'd you do that, Karl?
I know. Why would I do that to someone? He actually just wrote me a handwritten letter. I read it out of the creep off today. But these things happen. I went to high school with a guy who just murdered his uncle. Yeah. We played soccer together. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you know what the thing is, though, also, a lot of guys out there who are saying that people have been sitting on this for a year. These are the same people who find high school transcripts from 1982. It's like, I mean, if it's out there, why didn't you find it?
Right.
Why? I mean, if everything is out there in public knowledge, it's like, unless you're people who are looking for shit on us, people who are looking to take people down, that's kind of a red flag. If you really wanted to like take somebody down, it's like it was definitely a fucking shock and a half to know coming back from DabbleCon going, fuck, really? This is what we got to do? All right, fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, all the time I thought it would be Zen, not ESO, but what do I know?
That's fucking crazy.
I know. Club 102, Resita's hottest gay bar. Thank you for gifting one. Big fan over there. Tell the boys we said hi. If you missed DabbleCon 2, you missed out, baby. Met all my heroes. Now what? Yeah, I met Waver. Good dude. Is that ZZ Top? Let's go, Bill. Come on. Frankie with $20 super sticker. Thank you, Frank. Karl Hamburger, Cubs fans, Bills man. Let's go.
Nice. I like the Slick Rick. Making some good points over here.
Yeah, man. TSN boys must have got yelled at. Joe was a dick, as was Hey Don and Bob. Wow, all of them. Did you just say you met all your heroes? They were all dicks to him.
Yeah, Joe was big time with everyone. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, Joe. Listen, keep in mind, Joe's being screamed at by Vinnie Paulino most of the night too. Highlight at DabbleCon 2, Brian asking if he could take my extra chair at brunch the last day. Wow, look at that. Rumpled trench coat. Sweetheart. Good to see all you guys having so much fun. Are there talks about DabbleCon Europe? Love y'all. Jan.
Yeah, that'll be like our Euro Disney. That might not be a big hit.
right. That might be a bit of a flop. I don't know.
The best way to look at it is like there's no reason not to do DabbleCon 3 unless John goes away and never comes back ever. You look at DabbleCon 2 and you're like, why wouldn't you do 3?
Yeah, that was our whole point when John threatened for months on end that if I go, this all goes away. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't go away until we all go away. That's how it works. The Dabbleverse, the people, that's when they go away. This all goes away. No, that's what happened.
Remember, we got Steeltoberfest coming up.
Yes.
In October. So we're
good. Oh, I love it. Thank you guys for all the laughs. Thank you, Lyndon, 49. Carrie, Shuli, you and Karl did a marvelous job on the DabbleCon 2 stream. Well, first of all, I'm not going to jump in and take credit for the stream. Karl, Vinny, Melton helped out. Roy Ray was back there helping Vinny.
The only thing I was stressed about the entire week, I was at stream working. If you could have seen me in Vinny's office when we were testing it.
Yeah.
I think there's a fun video of Shuli out there on the stage before anyone was there.
Yeah.
Talking. I'm just like, I just want this to fucking work. Too many people signed up for it for this not to work.
Yeah, Joe, Andy, everybody helped out. Everybody, whatever Vinny needed to make sure this ran smoothly, everybody was working their ass off. So shout out to all of them. Zen destroyed at the roast, and Bryan was very laid back, funny as a Dabby presenter. I retired in November, so nothing's holding me back from DabbleCon 3. That's what I like to hear.
Nice. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming.
Where would you like DabbleCon 3 to be? Karl, if you could pick a spot. Yeah, all of you guys. If you could pick a spot.
I would definitely go Northeast. And I love Philly. I love New York. I love Boston. I would probably think of somewhere in those areas. What do you guys think?
I think any of those places are closer to me than Rochester was.
Well, yeah. It's all good for you.
Yeah.
I personally feel like West Coast is neglected a lot. And I feel like a trip to the West Coast, maybe a spot like Vegas, where there's, it's easy for people to get accommodations and kind of, maybe LA. I don't know. But I feel like the West Coast might not be a bad spot.
Fuck LA and LA's asshole.
Then that's fine. Arizona, we can throw that out there. Havasu, let's do it, man.
Hear me out on this, Shuli.
Go ahead.
Dabble Cruise.
That's just a dysentery waiting to happen. I mean, I feel like that's gonna end in fire and tragedy.
Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry to bother you on the poop deck, but I'm a huge fan of you.
How many wives will be thrown overboard?
Yeah,
on that. Actually, probably be the husbands. Now I think about it.
Yeah, no. The fun thing about DabbleCon being at a venue is you can leave the venue if you want to. If you need a break, if you need some air.
Considering how things might be going, maybe the middle, maybe the center of America. Maybe somewhere in the Midwest or Chicago, somewhere kind of like where everybody can equally get there together. But if it was the West Coast, maybe I think Vegas would be great. I think that'd be a really good time.
First ever WATP Live we did in Chicago for that very reason. It's a fun city. People can all travel in from wherever, and it worked very well. We have a show coming up in Detroit. A lot of Detroit dabblers out there. That's also a very good destination for this.
Yeah. Stay in Rochester, says Meredith Halfpenny.
I will say this. I was talking to Vinny today. He goes, if you want to run the same equipment that we did for the live stream, which looks so slick and so proud, Vinny did a great job with all of that, getting all that set up. He goes, I could get you a rig like that you could take on the road for like $10,000, $12,000. And I went, fuck that. I do not want that hassle. Like, what I love about the comedy club is it's all built in. Vinny knows how to run it. We set up, we sit down, the cameras are already in their places and everything works. I don't want to be in charge of like, is the internet strong enough? Can we stream it from this club? Who's running the equipment? Like, that just seems like a nightmare to me.
One of my favorite parts about the porn bomb was KB reporting you to YouTube.
Right.
That made me laugh.
What an idiot. He thinks that anything streaming if there's video on the internet, it's YouTube. He's a boomer.
My favorite is that was the intro for Carlos Danger. As soon as the porn bomb went off, he brings Carlos up. And the look on Carlos's face, I felt bad for the guy. I really did.
Him complaining to YouTube is like picking up dog shit and going, hey, look what I just stepped in. It's like, you did it.
Right.
It's on your fucking channel, stupid.
I would love to see Stuttering John try to do a minute on Kill Tony.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh my god!
Celebrity Kill Tony. Have they done that?
No, I don't think they have.
I'd rather see John on Celebrity Jeopardy, but I'd check him out on Kill Tony.
I would in a second.
He wouldn't do it because he's like, I'm too big for that. I've been a comic for so many years. They would have to pay me like $10,000 to be on that show.
Yeah, he goes 60 seconds. That's 3 words for me. And
he would not have come up with that. Actually, sure.
You're right.
That's pretty good.
Karl, why did you suddenly have issue with the tapes after you debuted the tapes on your show with your special guest? Kate seemed odd.
Can I respond to this? I don't know why people think I have a problem with the tapes. I just didn't want anything that John said about that would hurt his family members, like his kids and stuff. If he said things about them, I'm like, I'm not going to play that on my show. That's all I said. Right. I'm not trying to get this guy to a point where he can never talk to his kids again. He's going to do that on his own. I don't need to be a part of that.
Right. He already has, by the way. He's way ahead of you.
Oh,
Stuttering John will be back. He's going to be broke real fast, says Dog Boy. What are you talking about? Hello, Cardiff. What are you doing, Angel? You're talking about the guy who bought a $1 million home, multi-million-dollar home, and got a motorcycle and a Mustang or a Mercedes, all this shit, and then had to throw his family out because he couldn't afford the mortgage anymore. You're saying that guy's going to go broke again?
Didn't he import pizza to California from New York for parties too? Like, I mean, come on. He's living his best NBA life, that guy.
That is a mentality of like, it's never going to rain again.
Right. Right. It's like a bag of money just landed in your backyard and you go, let's put a slide in the house, whatever. Like the dumbest shit you could think of. It was nice meeting none of you at DabbleCon. Also, I booked with Expedia and had zero problems because I have money in my bank. Thank you, Beta Patch.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Pleasure not meeting you either. I had a thought after did he take the
Social Security?
Oh, I had a thought after the did he take Social Security at 58 discussion on Rico. Do you think the loser has claimed disability since his stroke? I could see it.
Yeah.
If there's a way for him to get money out of it, absolutely. Absolutely. To all the haters of TSN, turn off gifted memberships. Thank you, Mike Shitty Internet Provider. Appreciate, bub. Dog Boy, those tapes are the social version of AIDS. Brutal.
Yeah, while we were listening to him, my wife was audibly groaning at some points due to the cringe. It was just like,
So, like, even if you didn't say anything about, getting Kate Coke or shipping drugs over state lines or buying. I mean, didn't say any of those things. Just the way they interact with each other is so embarrassing.
Well,
is she a genius or is she retarded? Because that laugh that she had, I couldn't figure it out even at the end.
I think she's a smart girl. I really do, but I also think it depends when you catch her. I think John is like a toy. So like, she probably just got high and just gets on the phone and just laughs at what an idiot he is,
And given the tapes to you, do you think that's retribution for him, like calling her mom and her grandma and all that shit? Like, because I couldn't figure out what did she get out of handing the tapes over.
I'll be honest with you. I had no idea about the tapes until I received them. There was no prior discussion. Hey, I'm going to do this. I think she had enough of, like, once he trashed her the first time, she was like, I'm going to remember that shit. And whatever happened along the way, I don't know how long she had been taping him for, but at one point she just was like, I'm going to tape this fucker, and started doing it. And when she sent me the first one, I was like, holy shit. It was massive, and that's when I was like, is this current? Like, what's going on with this? And she's like, oh, I have more. And she's like, and I'm going to send them all to you.
And to that point, she reached out to me as well and told me about the tapes, and her goal was to really monetize it, I think. I think she saw an opportunity she's probably sitting on a lot more stuff we don't even have, and she was thinking, like, people will pay for this material. I got to think.
They will. Well, I'll send her a check.
Come to think of it, I had a few phone calls with her too. Hold on.
Later.
He's sitting on more stuff. Come on, don't say that.
Erica Ann, hello, handsome Brian. Oh, hey, Shuli, Karl, and Yummy Zen. Erica
Thank
Ann.
you.
She has a type, that's for sure. Have you tried calling John Chicken yet? I heard nobody calls the Duke Chicken, and if you call John Chicken 3 times, he'll return for his revenge.
Dang Lizard, you're not that far off. When John decided not to do that first interview with me or the one-to-one conversation that we had, I had to text him that he was a pussy, and then he turned his car around and came back home and did it. So let's all repeat after me. Stuttering John is a pussy. All right.
A big, giant pussy, John.
Really
That's
is,
what you
too.
are.
He's a Barahusa.
I remember the first time he lost it on Chad is because Chad wasn't responding to his text fast enough. And Chad wrote him back as a joke. He's like, dude, you're like a chick. And he said John lost it.
Yeah, he did not like that.
When he called him a chick.
Yep.
Not a chicken, but a chick.
Yep.
Right. We'll accept chick or chicken. Bryan has the creds to be a TSN producer. Sign him up. Bryan, did you tap John's couches?
I wouldn't go near those couch cushions.
Oh,
No.
how
Look too
fun was
stained
that?
up.
That was an amazing part of DabbleCon. Just having the couch cushions. Vinny went out and bought the black lights. People were going up and really examining them. And what's crazy about John's couch cushions, if you look at them from afar, you see the one big could be cum, could be snot, stains running down. But then when you get up close and you see how stained it is, they're covered in shit. And John was sleeping on that couch. He was laying down his entire body across that couch.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I once looked up at the sky with night vision goggles on. And if you've ever done this, there's stars every square inch of the sky. It's a blanket that we can't see, right? And I felt like the minute you ran that black light up, the same thing happened. There was a new cosmos in front of, like, I didn't know what was going on, and people, it was like a ride. People were like, "Whoa!" like watching it, freaking out. It was fantastic. Monsters are discovered. It's no one's fault but the monster. Still love TSN, Shuli, and even Zenobit. WATP, my backup show, but number one if I saw Karl's nips.
We'll work on that for you, James.
He's got his thing. Gift and 5, Mike Shitty, internet provider. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Birding my free chat to suggest DabbleCon 3 in Vegas the week before WrestleMania in mid-April. My God. I'd let Father Time down there rail my wife. There you go. Sclapper tap. DabbleCon 3. The search for cock. I like that. Rochester wasn't shitty enough. Let's do Philly. There you go.
The area I stayed in, Rochester, was so nice that like all the and even in your neighborhood, Karl, your neighborhood's really nice too. Like all I heard was how Rochester's shitty, and I was like, I totally disagree with it until cars started getting stolen and bashed in windows and all that shit.
That sucked.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Is post Rochester Karl, where he's going, it's a really safe area. It's weird. He goes, I mean, all right, so we did lose that ATM. We lost the ATM that one time.
We have this thing in our town called the Kia Boys. And the Kia Boys are like 15-year-old kids who go around and steal Kias. And they have a lot of fun with that. They steal the Kia, then they drive into ATM machines and grab ATM machines and bust them open, and then they abandon the cars somewhere, and they get caught every time, and they just get let out, and they just keep doing it over and over. It's great. It's a great system we have.
Well, in all fairness, that's the proper way to use a Kia, is to crash into buildings with them.
It's the only way you should be caught in one, yes. Can you bottle laughter? It should be mass marketed.
Yes.
If you can bottle farts and bathwater, you can bottle chuckles. Giggles brings peace on earth. This guy.
Woody's the man.
Yeah, if that's the case, he gets the Nobel Peace Prize, Woody, with that fucking laugh of his. Been away for a bit. Any news on Stuttering John since leaving? So one of my theories, I loved your theory, Karl. This is all a hostile business deal type thing for John.
Yeah.
One of the theories I think he's doing is trying to build heat, trying to build this suspense, this demand, if you will, for him to return, and he's hoping and praying that there's somebody out there that's as much of a fucking idiot as Kevin Brennan was to pay him $3,000 to come back. And I think that's how his wheels are turning, is that he's going to hold out until somebody says, all right, John, name your price to come back and tell what? That you've been sitting at home drinking every day like you do when you were streaming, but we just didn't see it. Like, what's the big news?
Could be he's writing quiz questions again, right? Didn't he take off?
Yeah.
I have breaking news. You guys, do you have a stinger for this?
Oh, do I? One moment, please.
Wait a minute. We just got to say the breaking news, breaking news.
Thank you, John. Go ahead.
This is in from Cardiff Electric sends me this. He says, remember when John used to refer to himself as a guest teacher?
Yes.
Lee County actually has a substitute position called guest teacher. It must have been in his head from the application, and he sent me the application. So it's a level lower than a substitute. It's like if you don't have those requirements and we still really need someone in a pinch, you could be a guest teacher.
That's like in Vegas. I remember they tried to get me a job. I went to work in the casino, and they were like, "You want to be a runner?" And I was like, "What's a runner in the restaurant?" And they go, "That's below busboy." And I go, "How about I just go home and shove stuff up my ass instead?" You know, like, no, I'm good. But yeah, so he's low guest teacher.
Maybe he's a guest teacher in Lee County. Very possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, one hand against the other makes a great sound for your guest teacher, Stuttering John Melendez.
I'm dying to know though, like what is it that makes you even lower than a substitute? Like you're not allowed to be in the class by yourself? Or?
Yeah, Brian, great point. What separates a substitute teacher and a guest teacher? That I got to know.
Well, we all know John only qualified as a substitute because of the emergency that happened in California around COVID. Right. They shut down the schools for 17 years or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then everyone quit their jobs. He's like, well, this sucks. I can't work anymore. So then they're like, well, we really need substitutes. So they were desperate. People who hire John are desperate. Like, I don't know what Leno's ratings were with the 18 to 34 at that time, but he was desperate. And so Florida never got that way. Florida was a free country the entire time for the most part. So they might not be as desperate as Cali was.
Zen, did you have something you wanted to say, buddy?
No, I mean, if he is being a guest teacher, which I think Brian was right, you just have to be an adult in the room, making sure that these kids are supervised in some form. That's definitely a minimum wage job. You're not getting more than $15, $16 an hour to do that job.
It says $15 an hour, and you can have less than a bachelor's degree to be a guest teacher.
I'm in.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Mark Davis, thank you for the 9 months. Shuli loved you since Howard 101. You, Karl, Zen, and Brian all make us laugh. That's what matters to real fans and real supporters. Good riddance, Stuttering John. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate that, sir. DabbleCon 3, Long Island. Maybe the real Asa show up. Oh.
Maybe as a guest teacher, you're allowed to show up 5 minutes late, like he said in the tapes. You're allowed to just watch YouTube and not really interact with the students. You're literally just a babysitter sitting there.
Should I bring my own headphones to listen to my podcast, or do you guys supply headphones?
Gather round. It's time to watch me take a nap. Gather round.
But that's what it is. Like if people took pictures of him when he was teaching in the last few years, it looked like going to see animals in the zoo. It was like what they would usually do. They're laying on a rock, doing nothing, just sitting there, drinking Red Bull and texting on your phone. There wasn't a lot of teaching going on. It wasn't like he was up the blackboard like showing you how to pronunciate
There's
things.
no action shots. There's no action. It's him at his desk on his phone with a donut, something. It's like the last thing he looks like he's doing is teaching. That in any of the pictures I've seen.
And he always claims that the students all loved him. Guess what teachers the students love? The ones who don't make them do anything. All right, I'm just going to sit here for the next 40 minutes until the bell rings.
They were my favorite. Yeah, they were my favorite.
You know those school movies where the teacher takes the book and he rips it up and he throws it in the garbage? Like he was literally doing that to lesson plans. We don't need any of this.
Right. Jess, Karl got me into the Dabbleverse. TSN got me to stay. What a fun, weird alternate reality based on a small, fat alcoholic full of spit and hate. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks,
Appreciate.
Jess. Thanks for being here.
David R. Fuller. I'm not sure which would cause more infections, a DabbleCon cruise or Philly. Let's find out.
Yeah, why not? Let's do them both.
Do a cruise. Quadfather can be the next Leon Klinghoffer. I love that. That's a good reference.
On that Philly cruise debate, you're definitely going to see a lot of black people fighting either one.
Right,
so
that is true.
Pick Philly or pick a cruise. It's got the same outcome.
That is true. How about Stevie Tomatoes in Cape Coral? Funny you should say that. Some people have suggested a Florida DabbleCon spot. Imagine how good the Vinny at a real club is. Okay.
Oh, you were saying the person who's running the VA in the back? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I mean, a lot of these clubs don't have the capabilities to live stream multi-camera shoots. Comedy clubs don't.
No, that place is set up. That place is set up like a fucking studio, man. It's crazy.
And the other room we weren't even in, it has a complete, like my band's played there many times. It has the full sound and lights and everything. You can have rock shows in there. Like those guys have set that place up. It's nuts.
And I had a lot of people bring this up to me, but they thought that the Carlson named the comedy club the Kevin Meaney Room.
Oh, right.
For DabbleCon.
Right, and not the case.
Not the case. It was like that since they redid it, right? Since
it opened, yep.
Since it opened, right.
Since it opened, it's been the Kevin Meaney Theater or whatever that room is called, yep.
And then the Rickles Room is the other one.
Yep.
But
I think after DabbleCon, they're gonna rename it to the Kate Meaney Room. I think
they might
finally earn that moniker.
Vinny told me that he met Kate Meaney when Kevin was one of the favorites when they had the old comedy club called the Comedy Club out in Webster. And Kevin Meaney's one of their favorites when they were coming in, and he brought Kate with him one of these times. And Vinny had met her when she was very young, before she was sucking all the dick.
I missed that. Is that in the bio? I missed that. I gotta. DabbleCon was Fungi Bryan. This guy did a GoFundMe to get there and made it. DabbleCon was better than I ever could have hoped. Still wish you guys would have done your dopey song before the Dabbies, though. Already saving for DabbleCon 3. Yeah. Don't worry.
I saw this. I made Jen sing it on our recap episode that we did.
Yeah, and Jen, who's brilliantly talented, goes, I don't even know what this fucking song is.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Like, imagine how bad it would have been for us. Oh,
she crushed it at the In Memoriam.
Yes.
I don't know how she handled herself when she's singing the saddest song ever written with all of her heart into it and looking out at a crowd of people who are just busting out laughing at everything that they're seeing on the screen.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Frog for putting the In Memoriam together. That was
hilarious.
Did John file his 2023 tax returns? Super chats equal tax. I have no idea. I'm not involved in the tax. Don't let the heritage fool you. I'm not involved in the tax business. The content on ESO's hard drive is truly disturbing. I will never understand why anyone would download the Shuli show. Thank you, Aussie guy. Point well made.
Love the Aussie guy.
Kudos to all of you for the great entertainment you provided on DabbleCon 2. I bought the stream and it worked perfectly for me, and the chat was hilarious and good consolation for us who couldn't be there.
Oh, I haven't even seen the chat. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that, because that was an extra feature that I definitely wanted to set up to make sure people could chat while they were watching the live streams. That's great.
Yeah. I flunked out of lunch and I'm still not as bad as her. Okay. No, if Stuttering John doesn't come back, you could call it DabbleCon 3, The Search for John.
Very
Love
good.
That.
Does his ego permit it not coming back? Like he has to, right? Like he like mentally has to do it.
Well, he's already declared victory though, Brian.
He did say he won.
He did beat all of us.
Yeah.
Double victory, Karl.
And Brian, he's got the memory of a goldfish. So in about 3 months, he'll forget all this shit happened, and he'll just come on like it wasn't, like nothing happened, and he'll do his super chat thing.
Plus, here's another angle. You ready for this? He's gonna come back to be a hero for Clay Dabbler, Rob Saul, Ditka. These guys, it's just like when he finally came clean about teaching. It wasn't, hey man, I needed money. This YouTube shit wasn't making any money, so I went out and got this gig. It was, they came to me, they said, John, we need you.
Yeah.
The school and the education needs you.
John, you writing this down? This is good.
Yeah, right. Right. So that's I think going to be what, every day I was getting texts and calls. You got to come back. You can't let them win. And you know what? They were right. He's going to do that whole thing.
Brian, did you tell us your prediction for when he'll be back?
I did not. I think though, okay, where are we at the end of August almost?
Yeah.
I think by mid-September.
Okay, what's your thought on that? Just he needs money, or needs
my
his
feeling
ego
is
needs it.
I think I think he's more ego driven than even money driven.
Mm-hmm.
He needs the attention. Even if it's negative, people are still paying attention. And like this is a guy who's constantly reminding you of his credentials. And if there's nobody to talk to that about, he does it over and over and over again. Every show is the same thing.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have anywhere to vent that,
and okay, that's something I wanted to bring up when you were talking about those tweets he's putting out with his glory days. He's got the photo of him with Leno from '95, and
the zebra mobile, which he couldn't even turn the photo.
He doesn't own bed sheets. This fucking guy sleeps on a mattress with no bed sheets on it.
Yeah, and it's not the old mattress, but look at it. It already looks terrible. Like there's already just spots and
filled.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, for reference, the border's white. So
right. That's funny. That's a good point. But so my thought is that, John's obviously going back through his glory days and trying to build himself up again. So how much time is he spending watching all those old Howard Stern clips that he's able to lip sync to?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. He must be spending 6 to 8 hours a day just on YouTube, Stuttering John on Howard Stern.
Yeah, it reminded me. We were watching last night on Rico. We're doing these things with packages now. Like we're showing the romance, and then the fallout with different people. That's one of the things we're checking out. And we started part 1 last night with KC. And even though they were getting along at that point, it just showed you still can't have any kind of debate or discussion with John about anything if your opinion differs from his. He's not willing to discuss anything with you about it. It's just him looking at you going, oh, okay, all right, so you just gonna say that and I'm not allowed to say this? It's a child on the monkey bars every time. It's crazy. That's what it reminded last night, like you just brought up. It's another example of just him. He's one of the worst communicators I've ever seen in my life. He really is. He can't get a thought out, a sentence out. And it wasn't always like that with him. You go back 3-4 years, you've listened to the audio podcasts. I know you do stuff with the audio podcast, Karl.
Yep.
He sounds like a completely different guy. Completely different.
Since you brought that up, I did want to say that next week on our Patreon, we'll be doing another episode of Living in the Past with Stuttering John. We started doing this a couple months ago, and it's fantastic because we're going back and listening to all of his podcasts starting in 2018 and going through chronologically. And it starts with he's feuding with Anthony Cumia, and he's feuding with Artie Lang, and then he's pissed at this guy and that guy. Like, nothing has changed. Like, he's still that same guy, but the way he talks, you could tell it was millions of beers ago. He's a very different person now than he was just those 6 or 7 years ago.
Right. Plus, he still parties. Like when he was talking to Kate, and especially we know with at AC, he's a 60-year-old man who parties. Like I haven't partied since I was in my 20s. I have fun. I went and had a good time at DabbleCon, but to go out and just to fucking doing whatever he thought he was doing, like when you know what party means, when you go out you party, he that turns your brain into mush. I mean, if you're constantly doing that until you're 60, that's going to be a problem, especially when you're trying to communicate with people.
There's a reason why Artie doesn't do his show anymore.
Right. Well, and also, like, John had to have his chat tell him, hey, you probably shouldn't do a whip it on YouTube live on the air.
That's incredible.
Also, at like his advanced age, it gets more and more dangerous. Like, if somebody offered me Coke today, aside from the fentanyl and all that shit in it, I would say no, simply because I'm an older guy now. I'm not a kid anymore. So it's just going to affect me differently.
Yeah,
but it doesn't occur to him that he's aged.
Especially after 2 strokes. He probably wouldn't do it either. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fact. He has health problems.
I'd call my primary care physician and just say,
Hitman Dan.
But I wanted to.
Good. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say when he comes back, I don't think he's going to do his podcast for a while. I think he's going to be doing other people's podcasts for money. I think that's how he makes his debut. He's going to be doing like a podcast tour where
who's going to pay him?
Right.
People who want to have him on his show because there is money to be made with John. There is a Dabbleverse hole he's leaving. Not necessarily that we wouldn't be able to get along without him, but the current John, we want to see tabs on him, where he's going, who he's going to be with, and he knows he can squeeze about $100, $200, $300 out of people to do their show once, and then go to the next guy and go to the next guy. So there will be content, but I don't think it's going to be his content. I think it's going to be other podcast content.
And he won't be seeing those premium prices like KB paid him.
Well, that's the thing. Unless he's gone for more than 8 months, which was the whole thing about him coming back, is it was almost a year nobody had heard from him. So there was actual interest in John at that point. He's been back. He's worn himself out. He's read the same script 1,000,000 times over. People are fucking tired of him. So he's gone now, and he thinks he's going to have that same heat if he leaves for 2 weeks or a month.
How dumb are we going to feel when he's on Joe Rogan next week, and then Theo Vaughn the week after that, and it's going to be a Tiger Belly?
Yeah, right. RFK, thanks for having me on your debut podcast.
That'd be fucking amazing. I know for a fact Joe Rogan's aware of the Dabbleverse because he's talking to Anthony about it. How amazing would that be if Joe Rogan's just like, yeah, let's get fucking this John guy. Let's be hilarious.
I would love that.
And he would think that he had earned that spot.
Yep.
It wouldn't occur to him that it's ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, am I supposed to tip you fucking Jamie guy? Or yelling at
How much for a Google search?
Right.
Hey, Joe, remember that thing you said about me back in 1995 when I was on the Opie and Anthony show? Why'd you say that about me?
Joe, is this your empties table over here? Can I piling up on this? Tumble Dry, I think the porn bomb would have had more cachet as an African-American Secret Service agent was sitting next to Vinny and clicked on it. Okay. For DabbleCon 3, we'll prepare. Captain Chaos, I think people were hoping for something like the Lost Artie podcast when they heard about the tapes, i.e. him destroying his trans kid and so on. Well, I mean,
if that ever sees the light of day, that's going to be nuts.
Yeah. Sorry. Go hit up Filato about that.
Yeah, you know what? I actually got to hit up Filato. DabbleCon 3, that's what we need right there.
That's the one. One in the chat, if you drink less after watching Stuttering John. This is a great point because I can't tell you how many people have told me just that. I started watching either WATP or Rico, and I quit drinking, and I've never been happy. I'm not getting stuck on a boat with Mike Morse. Dallas, DabbleCon 3, middle of the country, American Airlines Southwest hub.
Yeah, Dallas is a good spot. Good call.
Not a bad call. The sheriff drives a Kia. There we go. Joe Clausen, right? Jess, TSN got $3K for our Bud Dwyer style comeback. Seabass. Oh, hey, Shuli. I used to live in Alabama, too. Have you received your mandatory banjo yet? Yes, I have.
How accountable are you two held? Specifically, Shuli and Karl, if he pulls an R. Bud Dwyer.
I mean, but I've always said that's DabbleCon 3, the funeral. Yeah. If he does do it, we just all of us show up at it.
It would make the next segment less fun, but we'd still do it.
Right.
Of course. There's got to be a finale.
Probably had a link to a hotline or something.
I'd have to change the lyrics to bloody head.
I would go out on a limb, and maybe you shouldn't quote me on this, but as a narcissist, as big of a narcissist he is, Brian, he doesn't have that in him to do that.
Doesn't.
There's no way.
Right,
he won't even admit that he's wrong, let alone do that. So
right. Yeah, no, you're right. The joke is on us. Stuttering John is the humpback king.
ITM, high and tight.
ITM. Tiger Lily, we know what Stuttering John is not doing: working full time, seeing his kids, paying his mom back, having sex with an unpaid woman, owning his home, living sober. Boom.
Correct.
What a list. Somebody on X had a list of all of Stuttering John's L's, and I thought it was the Torah. I thought it was. I didn't know there was so much writing. There's so much there. We got to examine that because that looks like to be some sort of Bible that everybody can live off of from here on out. John blocked me for saying that Expedia is being booked on the Uncle Rico show. Love all you guys, even you, Zen. Thanks for more than a year of laughs. Thank you, Jackpot.
That's a funny comeback to that tweet. Well done, sir.
I guess teacher is a teacher who sits in the fourth row in the class. Coffee mug. You're doing great, math teacher. Hey, Couch Tapper. Jim Grindle found out about your statutory rape and was disturbed. He said you make him sick.
I don't know who Jim Grindle is.
Yeah, that could be directed at any one of us. It's a teacher's aid, which are needed in pre-K and special K, special needs classroom to reduce student-teacher ratio. You make less money. Oh, hey, space alien probing Joe Rogan.
Oh, hey, carry on faithful.
He's trying. DabbleCon 2 was fun. Fuck the haters. Key all pedos.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Agreed, and thank you.
Give him a big scratch. Kate needs to befriend Karl. We need more tapes.
Yeah, where did Kate go? Come back, Kate. We miss you.
After being told to stay away.
Right. Imagine being trapped on a cruise ship with Frog.
Oh, you never see him.
He really wouldn't. He's constantly moving. Hey, boys, do you think in a drunk rage, he broke his backup laptop while hearing the tapes and he has money to fix them both? Ooh. And he has no money to fix them both.
That's an interesting theory because I thought when he said I'm not doing any more shows, I thought I was waiting until he's getting his laptop back. So I thought it was all hinging on that. But it also could be the lawsuit. Let's not forget about that. No one's
could be traveling. Could be traveling somewhere because the other times since his return that he's quit has all been to fool us and get us to shit our pants because he was gone for one day and made his videos private. You know, that old gag. Hey boys, do you think I just did this one, Zach? Thank you. Lee County subs go through Kelly Temp Services. John is literally a Kelly girl. Look at that, Mark Abatista. Love the KC show. Can't wait for the Aftermath show. Tony Baloney. Yeah, Casey popped on for a little bit with us last night. It was great. All of you guys did an amazing. Hey, what's up, Cooters?
Cooters.
All you guys did an amazing job with DabbleCon 2. The hard work really showed. We had a blast. I vote for DabbleCon 3 at the Borgata in Atlantic City. Wow. We have Rob Saul open the show for us.
Nice.
Speaking of, what's that poor son of a bitch doing now? I mean, he had his whole, channel, his monetization, everything was based around John coming on and blessing his channel with this windfall of money.
What a dick
and then John
move that
quits.
Was. What a dick move. He has Rob be his co-host for free for all those weeks and then never does Rob's show. And he promised to do it and he never did that. What a dick.
I'm
what
shocked.
A bad friend. I know. Go figure.
And I got to give a shout out here to Blind Mike, the Blind Mike Project. I want to play this clip real quick. I asked what's Rob up to. He has this clip from Blind Mike's show. They're watching Rob's podcast. Check it out.
Make it an army of dogs because I know people's not aren't.
Oh, so somebody's asking, where's the Saul Army t-shirts? And Rob Saul says, I'll make it an army of dogs. Okay, here we go.
Make it an army of dogs because I know people's not aren't going to just support me in the Saul Army. They want it to be a funny shirt.
Can you imagine?
But,
what a low that must be, and I don't think I've ever felt the depth of what that feeling brings. What the ugly truth of what Rob Saul is saying there right now is, listen, I'm desperate for money, and I knew that if I sell merch, I might be able to get some of you people to pay me money, but I know none of you like me. So what I did is lowered myself to saying that I fuck dogs so that you would possibly buy a t-shirt with my name on it.
And there you have it.
Mike has a great delivery, doesn't he?
Oh, it's so
Love
funny.
that guy. Real quick on Rob Saul. So Rob just got monetized this week. Big deal for him. He's like, guys, if you want to insult me, I'll read it. Just you got to super chat it before. It was send me a Venmo and I'll read it. But now he's monetized. And he wants to be the villain of the Dabbleverse and stuff. He really wants to get John's job, which no one's pining for Job's job. That's that job that he wants. But he wants it too bad.
Right.
No, we don't care about you. You're boring and you want it too bad. You're doing it wrong.
You can smell it on you. When you smell it on you.
Desperate. You come off as desperate.
I think you brought it up on yesterday's show where it's like it's not fun to insult somebody who's like, "Hey, insult me."
Yeah.
Like it has to you have to see the face after
right.
they're
The funny thing about John, when John goes, "Not reading that," not reading that, you're like, "Okay, this guy's getting bothered by some things. This is fun. Let's see where the light is."
I remember Jay Thomas telling me a story once that him and his buddies were in Vegas, and Jay's an established guy at this point, and they're going to see Don Rickles, right? And Jay has this idea where he's gonna make sure Don goofs on him. Jay wears a suit. He had a suit that was all made of gauze. Okay. And he wore that to the Rickles, and he goes, "Rickles is gonna tear me apart." Rickles never looked back at him a second time. Yep. He saw him in that suit, and he goes, "I'd sat there sweating my balls off in a gauze suit the whole night. The fucking guy never came over to me because he wanted it too bad. Yep. He wanted it too bad. It ain't gonna work."
So the thing with John is he wants you to goof on him on his terms, the same way he gave himself a nickname. Like, you don't give yourself a nickname. That is bestowed upon you for some dumb shit you did or how you look. Your friends and people who hate you give you that. It's the same thing where he's like, you can make fun of me because of my stutter. You can make fun of me because my feet smell. You can and people are like, "You're a bad father." And he's like, "Whoa," Yeah, so all that stuff starts coming out, and he can't handle it. Yep. It's the same way. You just got to find out how to insult Rob properly. Yeah, he might be asking for you to insult him, but there's other things that you can get at him that are really going to piss him off.
He went to Saturday night was his birthday.
Right.
He went out with his aunt.
Fucking
and then
rager, dude. Yeah, man.
I mean, Rob has zero friends. It's crazy. And then comes home and has his buddy Grindle, or whatever that guy was, interviewing people at DabbleCon live on his stream. And then I was watching this on the Blind Mike Project as well. He had Tookie on there and some other people, and they're just goofing on Rob Saul. The guy interview was just like, "Yeah, I guess these guys don't like you, Rob." It just backfired on him completely. It didn't work at all for him.
It'd be like on the news, a movie just Return of the Jedi comes out, and they're interviewing people as they're exiting, and they're just like, "Fuck you, anchor man." They're just cursing out the fucking anchor guy.
Channel 13 sucks. Yeah. You're like, okay, okay.
So fucking, and I love this. Zen, when we were leaving, that Grindle guy was walking, and said to him, he's like, "Really?" He's like, "You're helping out Rob Saul?" Mm-hmm. And what was the exact quote he yelled to you, the Grindle guy?
He goes, nobody pays attention to me. Nobody gives me any attention. I just want to be seen. You're like, oh, okay.
People are so pathetic.
Here's the opposite of pathetic. Our boy Frankie. Oh, yeah. I may have watched the tape show on another channel. Here's some sorry money. This probably means nothing because people think I am the Frogs account. Anyone that is generous, they think is an inside job. So
you think the frog is $100? You say so.
One day, maybe one day. Thank you, Frank. Kudath, what's up?
Thank you.
Thank you for gifting one, buddy. Appreciate that.
Home run, Cumia, home run. Go on now.
Karl, while John is hiding, please bring back making fun of Tony Michaels. Chicky McNugs is ripe fruit for the plucking. Drive through.
Ghost Cabby. I'll revisit Tony Michaels, but he only does politics now. And it's so hard to goof on someone who's that brainwashed. They think, like, if I vote for this politician, everyone's lives will be perfect. Like,
right.
Oh, you're retarded. I don't know what else to tell people who do these, like, either right-wing or left-wing political shows. They're just like, we just got to vote for our guy, and then everything's going to be great. Like, I can't even make fun of that. You're so stupid.
On the way up to DabbleCon 2, there's a compilation of like WATP versus Stuttering John, and they're like 11 hours each. So we're
Yes.
like, all right, this will take us the whole way.
Perfect.
And one of the segments was with Tony Michaels, and he outsmugs Stuttering John.
Oh yeah,
like big time. I didn't remember it like that, but my God, what an arrogant.
Well, he got the blessing from the Midas Touch brothers.
right.
He's still on their network. And actually, I checked in on him in like a month or two ago. He's doing decent numbers.
Good.
Tony Michaels is successful to these idiots who just want to hear their thoughts repeated to them. So they can be like, this guy gets it. Uh-huh.
Like when you say decent numbers, like more than the K2 sales or like less than the K2 sales?
That's a good question. I don't know if he's making as much money as he was when he was selling fake marijuana.
How long will Stuttering John need to be gone to lose monetization? Well, that's a great question, because you just let that channel sit there and die, they'll pull the plug on it. That's what happened to him the last time. Remember? That's why he had to take a payday when he came back, because there's no way he could come back on his channel and make money. It wasn't monetized.
Right.
So I don't know what that length is.
Well, it has to be less than a year, more than it was 8 months he was gone, right? So maybe 6 months is when you start to lose your monetization.
Karl will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the monetization thing is based on the past 365 days. So if his watch hours fall below that threshold over the period covering the previous 365 days. So at some point he will lose monetization.
Okay, I don't know the answer. That sounds right.
Why do you have night vision goggles, Shuli? Do we have to call you Nighthawk and call your stepbrother Dragon? It's a long story. I don't want to get into it. Let's just say some people think I didn't serve in the Israeli forces. If John doesn't come back fairly soon, won't he lose his monetization? Yeah, that's what we're
first off, lose spelled L-O.
Right. If you're gonna send me $2, at least spell it right.
Just spell it right. That's all I ask.
Another guy might be going through withdrawals. We talked about Rob, of course, Clay Dabbler, Dirty Deeds here. Got to be going through some tough times. Bryan, at what point did Shuli become funny to you?
Once I lost my attitude. I gotta say, like, I look back at that time and I was just an angry young man. You know? Like, I'll say this right now. Like, I don't know why I hyper focused on you. Even my wife was like, what's the deal? But after we spoke and we made up, I started enjoying Uncle Rico and BS.
You're gonna admit that?
I'm gonna admit it. I'm here to say it. Yeah.
This is big news right here.
Washing balls, as my wife would say.
But you got to admit, though, the Shuli Network is still a very douchey name for the channel, right?
It is. We've talked about it.
It was supposed to change in a week or two, because obviously a dumb name like that, nobody's going to tune into that stupid shit.
Right.
Shuli wanted the Shuli Empire, and we were like, nah, we can't do that.
Too much. It's much too much.
It's a little too much.
Notice he never did say Shuli was funny.
Yeah, no, he didn't, and he shouldn't. You know, he's a man of his word. God bless him.
No,
that's why I like
nobody
him.
should ever say.
Well, he
that.
has standards.
How do I control your mute button, Frog? Because I'd love that option. Huh? Oh,
and by the way, I just want to comment on that Jim Grindle thing one more time, because I've had I've known Jim Grindle for a while.
Oh, you know this guy?
I know him. He's been on a podcast that I used to do. He's a smart guy. This is why I was so surprised. He's an author. He's a fucking nice guy, and he's not a dumb guy. So when I saw him there with Rob, I'm like, why? You know, I was easy to approach him, and I think a lot of people here just they want to be a part of it, but they don't know how to be a part of it.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, again, I'm not shitting on the guy. I'm shitting on the fact that he was hanging out with Rob. I'm like, Rob's been kind of a piece of shit lately. You know, the way he's been talking about Bob and his family and all that stuff. There's a history there that you know, and Ray is in the same boat where these guys went out and they talk shit about everybody. They went out to Kevin, they went out to this guy, they wanted to talk shit. That again, you're not going to make it in any business doing that, because everybody remembers what you said and everybody sees what you're doing. This is how it works. Everybody catches the shit sandwich every once in a while. And that's how it works in this business. So again, I just wanted to get that out there to everybody.
This is the business we chose. You know,
It is.
That's what it all comes down to. Nasty Al, one of the favorites. Question: why is he flying? Where's he going? Maybe Florida, Jamaica. What about his car? What about the cats? Or does Asa inherit them? Okay, I'll start with the cats. They've been at his mom's house since he left. I promise
really?
you that.
I thought we heard them or saw them on.
Did we?
One of the shows in Florida. I thought so.
Oh, I got that wrong. His mom is at her house while he's in
Right.
Florida.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah, because you can tell he's been drinking. He's partying. He had some party favors waiting for him back in Florida, as we learned on the tapes. So
I didn't get to his mailbox in time. Damn it.
Yeah. Hey, send me 2 Vietnamese chicks. My mom's out of town. I'm having a party.
Oh, that's right. His Vietnamese girlfriend. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
you're skipping down a beach together right now?
Well, what's funny, I remember when the Vietnamese girlfriend thing came up, and it wasn't something he talked about. This is why it's bullshit. The legend sent him a super chat saying, hey, you butt dialed me last night, and I heard you talking with 2 women, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then the whole thing started. Okay. Now we're riding bikes. She's on my bike. At least there's a real chick on a chick bike, if that is true. But yeah, that's, more bullshit from him.
That was the funniest lie when he talked about how his girlfriend slept over at his house the night before. And then not 30 minutes later, he's like, I just watched the Yankees game and crashed. I was in bed by 9. Idiot.
It's tough, man. There's a lot of plates spinning.
Yeah.
Maybe Stuttering John finally got that boat and is in the middle of the Gulf trying to figure out how to stream on YouTube while walking a dog on a boat.
Yeah. But I want to go back to Clay Dabbler.
Yes.
Because I remember on the Wednesday show, John's last show, where he's going, my last show is Friday.
Right.
And I guess Clay, there he is.
That's Clay.
I guess Clay was lined up to be the guest on Thursday.
Okay.
So then John goes, you know what? Today's probably my last show. I'm probably done. And Clay's like, what? He's like freaking out in the chat. But John, we're supposed to do a show. I'm supposed to be on your show tomorrow. What's going on? So he's just leaving these people high and dry. This is what John does.
Yeah.
It's admirable.
Imagine how his family felt when he said he was leaving.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
Right.
It's incredible that Stuttering John doesn't look at his life and all the people, like even the in memoriam. Like if he were to see that, would he be like, maybe I'm the problem? Like, he would never think that.
He would never think that.
Every
but
name
holy shit.
That was quite the list of people.
Brian, every name that would come up, he'd be like, their fault. No, he did this to me. She did that. He would have an excuse or an answer for every name up there that shows that he's the good guy in it all.
But you have every name up there. You have like all his past moderators. I mean, people in his personal life. Like at some point, how can you not be like, I'm the problem?
Yeah. It's okay. It looks like a list of veterans. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people are in there. Jenny has a great singing voice, Karl. Skol, man.
She is a pro.
She is.
A good singer.
DabbleCon 3 at the
now you're talking.
Wow.
Now you're talking. Let's go. We're taking over for a week.
John's face on the sphere. I mean, how great would that be?
Also, Jenny singing that, it was such a silly circumstance that she had to be singing that song, and it was still moving emotionally. Like there was still like a teardrop moment when she was singing that song. She was so into it. It was probably the highlight of DabbleCon. I was watching her sing that memorial.
I just remember the song was getting ready to end, and the list just kept going and going. And she gets to the end, like you said, it was emotional. I'm looking over the crowd, and I just remember thinking, how dumb is everyone here and the people who put this together? And yet, how amazing is this? It's unbelievable. The Caravello Kings Challenge, the Kia boys.
Nice.
It's gonna get ugly.
How about High Pitch Eric coming for the first night? And he didn't get the attention. He came up on stage, and him and Joey C were saying something. No one cared. Everyone left. But I guess he didn't get enough attention because he didn't even come back on Saturday at all.
Yeah, the only time Eric has been successful on stage is when myself or Bob have something prepared and bring him up. It's never Eric ad-libbing or coming up with a bit on the spot has never and will never work out to be funny.
Eric shook
ever.
my hand, which I wasn't prepared for, and I made a beeline for the bathroom to wash my hands immediately.
Yeah. And
I don't think that guy has practices good personal hygiene. Is my point.
Yeah, and he shows up and he's like, like you said, he didn't get the shine that he was looking for, and so he didn't come back. And leading up to it, he's like, "Can I get a comp for me and one person?" And I was like, "How about two people? Can I bring a?" And I'm like, "Hey, pal, take it easy. Like, relax."
Hey, bitch, you are two people. All right,
Right.
You're letting you two.
Right.
In.
It was 3 with your +1, and just you. Fuck.
I
was really.
Yeah, Shawnee was the
was
exact opposite. Shawnee was a
I
lot
got
of
to
fun.
Shawnee a little bit. Finally met him.
We
for the
tried to
first
get.
time.
We tried to get him to announce the Dabbies, which would have been unbelievable if he did it.
Next
but
year,
he was like,
next year.
no.
We'd still be doing the Dabbies.
Right. It would take a long time. But yeah, he's a fun dude, man. Roddy Fingers was expecting problems streaming, but everything was perfect. Save for the racist poopy video.
Yep,
Yeah,
that was less than perfect.
You come to when you want your shit porn to go off without a hitch, you come see us, folks. Simple coincidence. Stuttering John breaks his current laptop, doesn't fix it, then disappears. Does he have a history of building clandestine relationships? I mean, you tell me. If John never did come back, what's next, Shuli? It's over. It's over. I sell the house. I go back to New York and I stand outside of Sirius crying with a sign. Take me back.
Let's not be facetious. You're up for a promotion at the Piggly Wiggly.
I am. I
mean, they have high hopes for you over there.
We're gonna have some fall hours when Shuli becomes night shift manager over at the Piggly Wiggly. So the show's gonna change a little bit.
I got 2 words, Shuli. Guest teacher.
There you go. Hey, constipated Jay Leno.
Oh, hey, Jay Phoenix.
I come back Chinese New Year and find "fuck you, Mike Morse" in Chinese. I don't know that I have. Thank you, Ching Chong Bing Bong. I don't know that I have.
He's going to come back in Chinese New Year. And
くたばれマイクモース。くたばったまえ、この無意味無才能なうんこ会。
It's Japanese, but still.
It's Japanese.
Oh, what a racist. God damn. Far out thought. Maybe he's back in LA for the teacher's job he already has. Well, we know he didn't get fired, no matter what he tells you. Just a thought. Could have went back to LA to teach. He did use his LA address when he sold his house to his mother. But
but that address he's already abandoned, though. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't have a place in LA anymore.
Yeah, he moved out of that place.
He's not staying with Aaron. That's for sure. I know Aaron doesn't want him anywhere fucking near his house.
Yeah, he's not allowed to park in front of his house, but just stay at it.
It's just been a de-evolution of houses in LA for him. It went from a mansion to a condo to that shithole that he had. And then the next step is definitely a cardboard box or living in a tent.
I thought you were going to say his house in Cape Coral. I was going to get very upset with you.
No, that's good. No, looks good on you though.
Yeah, no, that's the final stop, Karl. That's not. Rob Saul equals inflated self-importance. Says my own last smoke. Thank you. Delco Lou always got to factor the YouTube payday when Stud Joe threatens to leave forever. He has funds now. Wait till he checks his account after Labor Day.
Yep.
It's a good point. So even as a teacher, Stuttering John was an opener. Tookie World Order, Potato World Order. Let's go. Good line. Postpone DabbleCon until 2026. Hear me out. Jim and Sam are talking about you guys. Big J is a fan. Yep. Become part of Skankfest, if not DabbleCon 3 at the dojo. At the dojo. I love it.
Yeah, did you hear those guys goofing on DabbleCon on Jim and Sam?
Yeah, I love Sam. He's like, DabbleCon. Meanwhile, he knows everybody that's there. He knew all the event. Don't act like your shit don't stink, Sammy.
And their producer is the biggest fan of the Dabbleverse, follows all of this shit. Jimmy was a part of it. So it's like, okay.
Come on. Chip Chipperson was at DabbleCon. Yep. I mean, what more do you need? Even Chip knows.
That's a big deal. I saw that as a pretty big deal for him to trot out the Chip Chipperson outfit again, because I mean, he hasn't done it in a very long time.
Yeah, we unretired him.
Yeah. Shout out to Sheet Shitterson, man. That was amazing.
Hell yeah.
Hey, orgasming Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, hey, Jay.
That's all right. Hey, boys, great time at DabbleCon. Zen, did the wings hold up better than if they were in my pocket?
Oh, they were great.
Yeah.
The wings that I had, we went over to the other place. Not that the Carlson wasn't great, but the Radio Social had an unbelievable menu, and we had a great time. A couple of us went out. A few fans came out with us, and the wings were great.
Helga showed up uninvited. It was a lot of fun. It was good.
Well, yeah, she was around.
I can listen to Karl all day. Please say, go ahead.
Tracy, the fact that you would say that's bizarre.
I can't wait for John to make that sound gay. Bizarre.
Bizarre. I'm going to go to the bazaar.
Goldfold, thank you for the $5. John gone forever? Yikes. Let's all recite the cottage. Just got done covering the mirrors. May his memory be a blessing. Nah. Yes. Amen. Chris tweeted he's craving mini weenies. Fire him. Oh, no. It's all falling apart. Mini weenies. Carl's Frosted Tips. A cokehead, a narcissist, a drunk, and a loser walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hello, Mr. Melendez." Shuli, I don't care what Karl says about you. Thank you.
Thank you, my Frosted Tips. That's a good joke.
Thank you. Didn't John say he was going back to California in September? Perhaps he's going back to substitute teach to keep his kids' health insurance going, since that was one of the reasons why he needed to sub. Now that is a callback to one of the clips in the tapes.
It is a possibility.
Yeah.
He did say he was going back to California in September, but I think he said that when the lawsuit was filed and it claimed that he was living in New York. So he thought that was like his get out of jail free card.
Did we ever talk about the phone call that was made before DabbleCon?
Which phone call?
To the venue?
Oh, no, I mean, I brought it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We could talk about it if you want. I mean, I'm sure the venue doesn't care now.
Well, I mean, it was this last attempt from John to try and get us to not play the tapes, and he either had a friend pretend to be a lawyer,
or he had a friend pretend to be a lawyer. So this guy calls up the club and talks to the owner and says, just so you know, they're planning on playing these illegally recorded tapes. And if you do that, you'll be liable and we're going to have to take action against you. And I just wanted to let you know that. But, I'm John's attorney. And so we did some investigating. It wasn't a person who exists in the real world at all. And then we found out the real name of the person. And this guy lived in like Cincinnati or something and moved to Cape Coral a couple of years ago, and it's John's age. So it's like, oh, so this guy who called is like his buddy at the pub. The John convinced to call the club.
Yeah,
and
that he made him call.
The funniest part about it is anytime an attorney is working on something like this, he's going to be litigious with it. You're going to need paperwork.
Yeah.
You're going to want to and John knew about this months in advance. So you would have filed paperwork, things would have been delivered, been handed off, emails, all these things you can go back and look at timestamps and understand when things happened. And instead it's a phone call on like 2 days before the show.
Right. Very last minute for a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I love that the name he gave and the caller ID he was calling for were two completely different names.
Whoops.
Loser, not loosen. Yes, I got you, KFT. I got you. Tickle Me Tookie. Oh my God, I was so stoned I didn't wash my hand after shaking High Pitch's hand. Pray for me. Good luck.
I'm sorry, Tickle Me Tookie. That's terrible.
Yeah, the turn is going to start.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of monkeypox. Joey paid High Pitch Eric even though it wasn't his fault. FVTL. Welcome to Who Are These Podcasts? White Power.
I love when I play that. Everyone thinks that's actually High Pitch. That was Shuli on my show.
That's great. No, that was High Pitch. I'd never say that as a Jew.
No,
Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah,
Dare you? My thought on the LA teacher's job is any new teaching job would require a background check. Can you imagine them Googling his name? Okay, I'll give you that, Oliver, but we're talking about LA. We're talking about Los Angeles Unified School District and background checks for teachers out there. I don't think it's the same policy that would be in, I don't know. I mean, pick any place that's not a major metropolitan
how
city.
many has-beens are substitute teaching? They probably have in the application, how many trolls in the internet do you have? You know, you have to circle a number or a range or something.
And when he got Googled, like, wouldn't you guys come up, like Uncle Rico or WATP? I think you guys would come up before he would.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And they would ask you, what level LOL cow would you rate yourself?
Chris Chan, Cyrax, King Cobra JFS, Stuttering John. His name's on there. He's like, oh, I guess this one.
They got my name. They knew I was coming. I'm a star.
I'm a star.
New phone, but I lost my 18-month status. BS, man. Hey, we all know you're legit, Fab Five Freddy. Don't sweat it, man. Thank you for the 18 plus. Karl, the most underappreciated DabbleCon 2 moment was Kaylee's appearance. She really took one for the team.
Yes, she did. I agree.
Trooper.
She was wearing a very nice top on Saturday.
I just got a call. They found my car, missing a wheel, license plate, door handle, but it sounds salvageable. Karl, you pick it up for me?
Dude, I feel so bad for you, man, that your car got stolen. Now, I saw a photo of a car. I don't know if it was his car or not. It very well could have been. If you could just respond to this. Did you have a bumper sticker that had Trump giving like the thumbs up after he got shot? Was that your actual? Did I see the actual car of yours? Let me know in the chat. I'll be looking.
Prince, love you, buddy. Thank you. All the best to the missus. It was great seeing you guys, and really sorry that happened, my friend. That
sucked. I felt so bad because I was just like, guys, Rochester's not a shithole. It's great here. And then fucking
yet another victory. Yet another victory lap John is missing out on. Their fans are getting robbed in the parking lot. You know.
Oh, that wasn't his car. Okay, someone just said that to me, and I was like, "Is that really the car?" I believed it. It seemed possible.
Shuli, I just watched your DabbleCon roast set. I gotta tell you, son, your act is still a piece of shit. Thank you, Riley. Rest in power. Karl in Cape Coral, if you let your lawn grass turn yellow and not cut it and just let the property go to shit, does the city jump in and fine him?
Yes.
Wow.
For sure. But I'm pretty sure John has the sprinkler units. Like all the new builds have this because there's a dry season and a wet season. So I'm pretty sure his lawn will be okay as long as he pays his bills.
Right. You're saying this is idiot proof, and I'm saying game on. Let's find out.
Right.
Let's find out. Time to test the theory. Oh, hi, half off Gandalf. Great seeing you there.
Oh, yeah. I talked to him for a while. I was never so interested in potatoes as that night.
What a sweetheart, huh?
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Karl, JETS, AFC East champs, biatch.
Fab Five Freddy, I don't like the Bills' chances. Matt Milano, our best defensive player, is out for the fucking year again, of course.
Oh, no, what happened?
It's brutal. I don't want to talk about it. The Bills are not going to be good
Somebody
this year.
stole their cars.
Yeah, someone stole their cars. The Bills are not going to be good this year, but the Jets are not good enough to beat the Dolphins. You're nuts if you think that. The Jets are not a good team.
We'll see. We'll see who gets the ultimate wahapa at the end of the season.
Yeah, we will see.
P.S. That was for Don, not Brian. You weren't calling Brian Gandalf.
Oh, hey, dead fool.
Yeah, it was great seeing Dead Fool again. Strudel Wagon, gift in one. Thank you, Strudel. Well, there's no need to get into that. And yeah, and real quick, I have a prediction on when he will return. I'm picking September 11th. Just to make sure people are legit depressed that day.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Right.
It's already a tragedy attached to it. What's the big deal?
The worst 9/11 in 30 years.
But we will wait and see. His Twitter's getting more active. That's a sign. He's crumbling. You know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. His biggest fear is having to take a regular job. Yes. He wants this. He needs this.
He's smart. He's smart to take some time off because he was doing too much. It was getting repetitive. It was getting boring. Even people in this chat who support him, like John, we saw this yesterday and the day before. So he needed a break. He picked a weird time because there's so much to talk about, but that's fine. I'm happy for him. I do think he's going to be back in September, possibly late August.
Well, In typical John fashion, he will have breaking news that broke months before.
Yeah.
He always
sure.
does that.
Brian says
right.
mid-September. What do you think, Zen?
My question is, what will his new look be? Because he always kind of comes back as a phoenix. You know, he rises from the ashes as a different creature.
All
I'm
right.
hoping blonde hair. I'm going with blonde hair, mustache maybe.
No.
Something.
I got it. He comes back as a trans woman.
Wow.
So he's trying to mend the fence with his son right now, and he comes back as trans.
Then we're done. Then we can't.
He shows up on the train wreck with Helga and Lisa as a trans woman. That's his first comeback.
Hello, ladies. The white key I posted is mine. Learn names, Karl.
All right,
wow.
Thank you. Someone just shared it with me. I apologize.
Brian, what can we plug for you, my friend?
Me, you can listen to me on Tell 'em Steve Dave. It's a weekly podcast I do with my friend Walt and Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers. And that's about it. We have a Patreon.
And you can follow him on X as well.
Same thing. Tell 'em Steve Dave. Yeah.
Yep. And thank you, man. We always love having you here. Please come do a Rico with us sometimes. You're always welcome.
Yeah, we'll do. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you at DabbleCon too, Brian. Huge Vulgar fan. I'm the one who told you about getting to rent it from a video store last year. Started in Askinverse and ended up Universe, and then ended up in Dabbleverse. Boom. So he started with you, is what he's saying.
And I got to apologize to Looney Tunes critic. I guess a couple of people bought my hot sauce, then couldn't get out of the airport with it.
Yeah.
So let me know. Dude. We're going to be shipping out hot sauce to people if you weren't able to leave Rochester with your hot sauce.
Karl punishing people even when they leave. He can't just let them go.
The Rochester Airport's the easiest airport ever. Like, they don't make you take anything out of the bag. It's so easy. I don't know how they're compensating hot sauce. I think it was the label that scared TSA.
Right. They go, that doesn't look like Karl. I don't trust it.
That looks like Rob Saul.
That looks like Rob. Karl is sexist. He never plays voicemails from his female listeners.
That is not true. I play all the funny voicemails.
Yeah. Well, we know Jenny's in charge of singing and voicemails, so that's good to know. Listen, Zenny, you plug TSN.
No,
I'll do
guys,
it for you. Yeah,
Uncle Rico show, baby.
And Karl, please promote away. You got another live show coming up, yeah?
We do. We're going to be at the Magic Bag in Ferndale, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. That's October 25th, and there's not a lot of tickets remaining for it. It's going to sell out. So if you want to come see us there, we're going to be with Tookie and Cardiff and OJ and that gang, and the Drew Lane show, and Eric Zane's going to be there, the whole WATP crew. So you can go to WATPlive.com and get your tickets for that. And also, whoarethese.com. I do a show called Who Are These Podcasts. We put out 2 episodes every week. And if you're old school like me and you listen to podcasts audio only, subscribe to that wherever you get your audio only podcast. And it shows up every Thursday and Sunday. So it's great for your Monday morning commute, your Friday morning commute. If you don't commute, then listen to it while you run errands. I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to sit in front of your computer to watch shows. You can listen to shows and get things done.
Yeah, we were talking about how many people came up to us at DabbleCon. We're like, we're not in the live chat, but we listen. We don't miss an episode, but we just aren't here live with you guys.
Which is great, which I appreciate those people, because I'm still a big fan of listening to podcasts.
Absolutely. All right, folks, hit like on your way out. Thank you, the 1,400 in here watching today. Hit subscribe if you're not. We'll be on, I believe, at 8 with part 2 of the Casey and John bromance, The Fallout, tonight. And we'll see you guys then. Gentlemen, thank you. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.